Hello, hello, hello. Uh, hello, hello, hello. Uh, Michelle here. Uh, with hopefully what will be the last uh, discussion of our book, Sapiens. Uh, if I get some company. So while we wait to see who joins me, um, in the very back of the hardcover version of Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari, there is a Q&A with the author. And so I think I'll read some of that. First question, what inspired you to write a book about the entire history of humankind? What was your aim? Answer, when I was a teenager, I became very troubled by the fact that I didn't understand what was really happening in the world, why things were the way they were, and what the aim and meaning of life were. I asked my parents, my teachers, and other grown-ups, and shockingly, it turned out that they too didn't really understand. Uh-oh, here comes G. Moses. But I was even more amazed by the fact that they seemed not to care about it. They were very worried about money, careers, their mortgage, the political situation, but were completely nonchalant about the fact that they didn't understand what life was all about. I promised myself that when I grew up, I would not get bogged down in the mundane troubles of daily life, but would do my best to understand the big picture. Writing the book was, in a way, fulfilling this promise that I had made myself. Gio, I don't see your picture. Uh,
Mm, all right.
uh,
Hi.
hey, I was just I was just doing a little reading from the very back of the book. There's a Q&A with Harari.
Oh,
And
mm-hmm.
so I just read the first question and answer. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm post eclipse. I
And
survived.
birthday? You had a
Oh yeah.
birthday?
Oh yes. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm feeling great, Gio.
Good.
I took that I bought the sample version of the mushroom blend.
Mm-hmm.
Um I took that on Saturday. I've had it, for a while since we first talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I was waiting for like the perfect time to take it. So I didn't want to take it when I was out of town, and didn't know what my reaction might be. Um, I didn't want to take it if I kind of felt okay. I wanted to take it when I was really, really feeling fatigued and just, and I was at home and blah, blah, blah. So that day came last Saturday
Mm-hmm.
about noon. I would say within an hour, I had perked up dramatically.
Okay.
And and I it just got better as the day went on. And then I thought, okay, so I didn't have any more. And I said, well, that was pretty good, no jitters, no negative reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, well, I need to, get a supply. that stuff. Thinking, maybe it would be something that I take every day, because with the black seed oil, um, I think I told you, you have to stop taking it periodically because it loses its effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it was Sunday that I ordered some from Amazon, of course, and they had it delivered by Monday afternoon. Um, so I didn't take any Sunday. I felt great. I didn't take any Monday. I felt great. Um, and then today, maybe around noon, I was starting to get a little tired. Mind you, I had been up since about 5 a.m. I had been busy the whole time. So, I kind of, the tiredness felt, kind of deserved. But
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, since I want to have good energy for book group tonight, why don't I take a dose now? So I took some maybe about noontime or this afternoon. Um, and I feel great. And let me say,
That is so cool. So how do you mix it? You just use warm water or what do you do?
so this is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. It's the
Mm.
Om Superfood Mushroom Blend Morning Blend. Helps support balance, focus, immune health. It's got uh, cordyceps, lion's mane, reishi, turkey tail, and shaga. Um, and I think the first time I took it, uh, I think I just mixed it in some cold water because you can have it hot or cold.
Okay.
I mixed it in some cold water, and I didn't use the little blender thing or anything. So it wasn't even really well mixed, but it gave me a chance to really taste all the flavors, right?
Yes.
And it's kind of tasty. Today I mixed it in for lunch. I had a chocolate soy milk smoothie, and I mixed it in there with uh, a little more protein, almond protein powder, and and some ice. And so it was kind of like a chocolate shake, um, and very tasty.
That does sound delicious.
I,
Well,
and
good.
I've been taking extra protein because um, I've been realizing I really don't get enough protein in my diet. I just so I've been doing a lot of smoothies lately with extra protein powder in them.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about the results, right?
Well, I tell you, yeah, you have are better than my doctors. Are you a doctor? Hey, you've been
No.
holding out on us.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Frankenstein. That's what they call me around here.
Well, I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Um,
No, I mean, really, I'm talking now close to 30 years of 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 really being in bad health. And it started with the carbon monoxide poisoning, that was
Mhm.
coming through my car. Um, got through that. Um, and then just a long period of being really sick and not knowing, what the problem was. Turned out to be this rare liver disease. You
You just never
Then,
know.
they finally figure that out. They give me some medicine that helps my liver to function. That was in 2017. Um, the car thing goes back to 1996. Um, so I started taking the liver medicine in 2017, and that helped a lot, but nothing has helped with this fatigue and brain fog um, until like the last 6 months or so. I've experimented with a few different things that have been helpful, but this I like the best.
Okay. Well,
And
that's good.
when they diagnosed the liver disease, my doctor's like, yeah, yeah, fatigue, brain fog, yeah, that those are symptoms. Those are symptoms. Well, what can you
Hmm.
give me? Oh, we don't have anything for that. Oh, you don't have anything for that.
Gee, thanks, Doc. Okay. I can keep you alive, but your quality, yeah, you're on your own. No.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
so it's really just these last 6 months, I think it was last September, that a friend of mine talked about black seed oil, and that helped a lot. Um, recently I tried these little energy shots. That
Okay.
helped, but and I didn't have any jitters or negative reaction to it, but it's a lot of caffeine in those little energy
Mm,
shots.
yeah.
And I didn't know if how that might impact my other conditions.
Right.
Um this this stuff, somewhere on here it says that it's caffeine free, but then somewhere else it kind of contradicts or you know says there's a little caffeine. So whatever.
Oh, yeah. It's important to read labels. That's true. Hmm.
But so far, I think this is gonna be my go-to.
Okay. I like how how you introduced it into your routine, though. You're like, I'm waiting till I really need it so I can tell. That's pretty smart, Michelle. That's pretty smart. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to, really be able to attribute. And of course, Vanita, um, ever since I started the black seed oil, wants me to track everything so I can really, you know,
Yes.
um, decide if I'm having a placebo effect, or let her decide. Let her decide if I'm having a placebo effect or whatever. Um, but for me, I don't really worry about that because I'm a Sagittarius. So by nature, truth is just important to me, and
Okay.
so I'm always, even if I'm not honest with other people, I'm always honest with myself
Okay.
about, what I'm feeling, what I'm dealing with. And so, and what good would it be um, to be pretending that something was working.
Okay. And you're paying for it. Okay. It's
You're
not
right,
free.
and you're paying for it, and it's not. So I just want to, figure it out. Um, But yeah, that was a great day last Saturday for me to try it. Um, but anyway, this is not
The health show? No,
the Michelle's health issue show.
of course it is. No.
But it kind of dovetails, and I mean, this is of course the last discussion on this book. And traditionally that's when we talk about next steps. um and so the fact that I'm feeling so good makes me have to rethink what the next steps.
Ah. Okay, now, Michelle.
I know. But that's what I've been thinking about today. I don't know. So
Okay.
let's talk about chapter 20 and the afterword. I guess let me welcome anyone. I haven't talked to Benita today, so I don't know if she's you've probably never heard me talk this fast. You may feel like um
What?
like I'm high, but I don't feel like I'm high. I feel like I have before I got sick, before I started going through all this stuff, I used to have a lot of energy, Gio. And I mean, I'm the one that was working full time and going to school full time, and the
Okay.
baby on the hip and all that
All right. Okay. A
kind
modern
of
woman.
stuff.
Okay.
I had a lot of natural energy. And so, it has really been um, uh, just torture for me these last 3 decades to be so de-energized. And so I do feel like I'm talking faster than I have been, but it feels like my old self to me as opposed to the person you've come to know since 2014, the last 10 years.
I considered it thoughtful. You were thinking
Yeah.
about things before you spoke and measured in a measured
Well,
manner. I didn't think about, oh, she ain't got no energy at all. Look at that poor child. No.
yeah, yeah. I do think I'm kind of thoughtful. But I used to also have energy.
Okay. Okay.
So anyway, let me say welcome to Reading for Change, a collective journey, cluster 4, the fourth book. We've had discussions under that using that um title umbrella. And the book we are concluding tonight is Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Dr. Yuval Noah Harari. And we are on chapter 20, which is called The End of Homo Sapiens, and the afterword, which is called The Animal That Became a God. Oh, God help us.
Because we were hoping for a happy ending.
I,
We've been disabused of that notion.
I, no, I know Dr. Harari he's squarely focused on truth himself. So, but he gives us some leeway to maybe go in a better direction. Anyway, I am Michelle Odom in Brooklyn, New York, and happy to be here. Joined tonight by
Georgette Moses in Columbia, South Carolina. Woohoo!
Woohoo. And you see, I have on my sleeveless top, Geo.
Yeah, is
We
the
in the mid
warm weather there?
70s.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, it's a heat wave. Oh.
yeah. I think they predicted 75 as the high for today.
Wow. Well, I hope it sticks around and doesn't do any crazy nosedives.
They don't. They anticipate a nosedive. So I made sure to get outside today
Good. That's good.
and soak up as much sun as I could. Were you in the path of the eclipse?
No, we saw a partial, so that was about it. I wasn't really excited about any of it anyway. I don't know. Am I jaded? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. The there was a partial in New York City. Um, I wasn't that excited about it, but then they kept pumping it on the news, pumping, 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 pumping,
Oh my God, oh my
pumping.
God, oh my God.
And I said, well, am I jaded? Should, you know, maybe I should go get some glasses.
I'm like, why y'all trying to make us all look up right now? There's something going on down here we need to actually be looking at. I don't know.
And
I'm
I
just
went out twice thinking I was going to buy some eclipse glasses. And
Mhm.
both times I forgot to do it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Then there's a famous cemetery in Brooklyn called Greenwood Cemetery. A lot of famous people are buried there. It's been there, I don't know, over a century. Um, and they do a lot of events. And so they were one of the locations that was doing a special event, around viewing the eclipse.
Mhm.
So I thought about going there, but then they were talking about how the eclipse can
Mhm.
affect people's moods, and have them doing crazy things. And I thought, do I really want to be at a cemetery
Ah.
while humans are going off the chain?
Sounds like a plot to a horror movie. No.
Yeah. So turns out I was taking a nap during the eclipse.
That sounds like a much more helpful use of your time. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
It was okay. It was okay. So, all right. So let me read the little summary. Let me find it. YouTube invitation. Share. Okay, so wish I could get this thing out of my way. Um, how do I do that? Uh-oh. You can see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, trying to move. Okay, here it is. Um, okay. Yeah, is that big enough?
Yes, uh-huh. It's fine.
Tonight's chat brings to a close Cluster 4 of Reading for Change, a collective journey, with our commentary on the last chapter, our overall reflections on the book, and our projections on future plans for our series of book discussions. The final segment of the book, Chapter 20, The End of Homo Sapiens, briefly explores some of the new technologies beginning to break the laws of natural selection in favor of intelligent design, or the engineering of living beings by scientists in laboratories. From the mating of fat hens with slow cocks 10,000 years ago, to artistic ventures like Eduardo Kac's Green Rabbit, to modern research and development in biological and cyborg engineering, efforts by Homo sapiens to reshape humans have reached a new pitch. Now we are on the verge of changing the laws of life. The medical and scientific inspirations are compelling, but equally thorny are the ethical and political questions raised by things like merging mice and cattle, reviving the Neanderthals, creating bionic life forms, and like King Gilgamesh, preventing the nasty business of death. Ever the scholar, Dr. Yuval Noah Harari, includes a provocative afterword, the animal that became a god, to close Sapiens, a brief history of humankind. He reminds us of our insignificance a mere 70,000 years ago, and how Homo sapiens has transformed itself into master of the entire planet and the terror of the ecosystem. Today we stand on the verge of becoming a god, poised to acquire not only eternal youth, but also the divine abilities of creation and destruction. He urges humanity to consider its capacity to reduce suffering as it moves with uncertainty and discontent in embracing new powers. He asked, is there anything more dangerous than dissatisfied and irresponsible gods who don't know what they want? I don't think so, Dr. Harari. Sounds pretty scary to me.
Yes, yes.
Oh man. So, so it's a pretty short chapter. We may have a short evening. We'll see. But you want to start the discussion?
Okay, let me look at my notes and see. Uh, oh, huh. Well, my first highlight in this chapter was, I think this is page 516 in my book, but he says, but as the 21st century unfolds, this is no longer true. So breaking free of biologically determined limits. Homo sapiens is transcending those limits. It is now beginning to break the laws of natural selection, replacing them with the laws of intelligent design. And that is the dilemma, right? It's Pandora's box. It's a blessing and a curse. And because it's still controlled by political, religious, and class and culture, right? Who's controlling, the outcome? Will it be for the good of mankind? And who determines what is good for mankind, right? And is it at the expense of other beings on the planet?
Yeah, that makes me want to find something I posted earlier today. Let me see if I can find it like this. Um, uh, it's um, it's a picture that says that 10, 10 companies now control everything we eat.
Oh,
Here it is. Um, can you see it?
yes.
10 companies control everything we eat and drink. Um, so, uh, you know, my first instinctive reaction to what you were saying, Gio, about who's controlling all of this is to say, you know, maybe nobody, maybe it's so diffused um, and so widespread um, that there's no possible way that we could ever get a handle on it. But when you look at something like this infographic, you know,
Mm,
and think about what Harari uh, has said about, um, I- and even Chanda, um, about the pressures that scientists are under, um, to go the way that the funding wants them to go. Well, what I'm sure all of these 10 companies have is a charitable arm, a charitable arm that would be giving out big money, you know,
mhm,
to scientific endeavors, etc. And so, it's probably not so unwieldy as we might imagine. Um, but I think the problem is that for 10 companies to have this much power, um, I mean, what might be the values, you know, uh, um, of companies like this? Um, so I guess I'm saying I think that if there's probably a small enough elite um, that if they wanted to rein in um, the work of modern Dr. Frankenstein, uh, they could. Um, but I doubt that they want to.
mm. Well, maybe as long as their goal is financial, we might be okay. But if they dip their toes into the, what is it, what is that movement? And I can't think of it. Well, the extra humanist movement, we might be in trouble. Mm,
Well,
more than we are already.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I'm thinking about the these private companies, uh, uh, what's the Twitter owners,
Oh, Elon.
Elon
Uh-huh.
and Bezos,
Oh, mm-hmm.
um, with their forays into outer space,
Mm,
and right now it might not be a big money maker, um, because they're kind of in the R&D phase of things. Um, but they wouldn't be doing that R&D if they didn't have a vision for down the line how this was going to be a money maker.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think that's the thing with all of these technologies that, I mean, right now, while they're mating mice and cattle,
Goodness.
there may not be no financial um,
Mm,
outcome for that particular experiment. But if it teaches them something about something else
mm,
that humans are interested in, then that's where the money comes starts to come into the picture.
yeah.
I don't
Mm.
know. I mean, it was a rather demoralizing chapter for me,
No, I'm like, gee, thanks, 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 Noah.
but I think it was for him too. I mean, I think for him, the whole book really is trying to show us the error of our ways,
Hmm.
what all of this new technology has gotten us. Um, and and you can see the good in it as long as you don't raise the question of human suffering.
Yeah.
And so I think he's trying
Mm.
to say when you add suffering know, to the equation, then all of our progress doesn't look so great.
Yeah.
So, that's I guess what concerns me about all of these um freaky, you know, freaky things going on, designs going on that um I mean, if we had solved the single problem,
Ah,
just a single problem.
without creating like a dozen more.
Yeah, then all of this research, it might be exciting, it might really you know, uh uh be something we want to get behind because the like the medical stuff, clearly um could be used to good effect.
Yes.
but our track record, not good.
No, it's not. Oh my. And then that um brings to mind someplace in this chapter, he speaks of well, he interjects, the extent the Gilgamesh project and this life extension research that's going on, but who will control it, because we still have this classism. So the elites, of course, the way we do things here on this planet, uh they're going to want it. And they want to monopolize it, monetize it, and make it exclusive, right? As another
Well,
source of power.
remember Harriet Washington told us they've been predicting our extinction since the 1800s. We were supposed to be done by 2000.
A nice
Exit
round
stage
number.
left.
Okay, 2000. Mm.
So, it's hard to imagine that anybody is even concerned about um, you know how the masses of humanity will have access to these life enhancing and life sustaining technologies.
Yes.
There was a ad. I don't know. I don't remember if it was on Facebook or in my email or what, but it was talking about how Black people are desperately needed for Alzheimer's research. Um,
Why?
yeah. Because there's so few of us, and they were saying, well, um, whatever new medicines, whatever new technologies come out of this, um, they may not work as effectively for Black people if Black people are not a part of the experiment, of the research. So in a healthy world, Gio, I'd have probably been happy to sign up to be a part of it. But the track record,
We done read Harriet. We ain't falling for that.
track record is not good.
No, it is not. Oh my goodness. No. I'm
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, so it's like this double-sided problem where a white folks are probably not all that concerned about how to incorporate us into whatever these positive new technologies are. And then on the other hand, we have so much fear associated.
And rightly so.
And rightly so. It's not paranoia. It's not unreasonable, you know. Um, but that's the downside of our fear, that we're not even lining up to benefit in things that might be beneficial because the track record is so poor.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. And then they come up with things like I'm just looking down on my page 403, uh, where it's talking about creating a a monogamous, a completely monogamous humans.
Oh yeah. Is that a thing you really want?
Right,
Who
right.
wants that?
Where do these crazy ideas come from? What the hell? I mean, they just,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know, Jill. I don't know. It's really
Look, if we were meant to be swans, we'd all have feathers.
right,
That's what I'm
right.
saying. Okay.
What? I mean, but they're like so anti-nature
Yeah.
that that
Mm. Because how we are now, just, that's not good enough. We can do better. We can rebuild him.
right into a cyborg.
Yes. Oh my goodness. The $6 million man.
Yeah.
Back in the day, how much does he cost today? That's the question.
He talks about the military is now creating cyborgs out of insects. This past Sunday on 60 Minutes, um, they had a segment on Ukraine, and it was looking at the minefields that the Russians have left behind. And there were
Mm,
these little things. They almost look like butterflies. They're shaped like butterflies,
mhm,
but they're all green. Um, and so they just have them scattered throughout throughout the land. And of course, if you step on them, you go boom.
mm,
So between those and other little kind of things that just kind of blend into the landscape,
mhm,
um, so just taking all that's beautiful and magnificent about nature and putting it to such destructive ends. It's just it's some maybe I don't know, maybe it is time for sapiens to exit stage left.
Well, we'll either exit or evolve, but uh
From your lips, I tell you. Oh man.
that is just crazy. I thought you were going to say they had invented some kind of bug cyborg that would land and pre-explode the bomb, the landmines. You said they weren't landmines. Oh my goodness.
Well, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Mm, mm,
Remember Harriet Washington, that I think it was the last chapter or one of the last chapters on South Africa. What was the guy's name? Wooter Bassoon or something. And he had all kind of creative little, pens and uh, powder in your underwear. It was like a James Bond kind of thing.
oh yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Mm.
man. But yeah, the stuff under. Oh, and then this brain linking. Who wants that?
Oh,
That
yes. And they disguise it as, and I think he kind of addresses it somewhere in this chapter about it's for the good of humanity. Look at how much good it can do. You have this thing in your brain. Okay.
yes.
And so I can see where the guy who was, I think he was a quadriplegic, and so he was able to communicate using the thing, but
right. And that's the thing that for every positive potential use, there's a negative.
Yeah, because the monkeys, they use it that they I think he says that they can use their two arms and then their mind is controlling another arm that's not even in the same country. So,
Right.
like,
Right.
okay, so that monkey arm is over there strangling somebody and no
Right. Right.
and you can't trace it back to the perpetrators because then the arm explodes. Oh no, it's just crazy.
Right.
It's
Right.
crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But this brain linking where you no longer know if it's your memory or your feeling or your desire or just something that you pulled out of the collective brain.
Okay. Yeah, no, human beings aren't ready to have a hive mind like that. Okay, we're not ready to know everybody's thoughts
No,
around us. Um,
we're not.
and there's still stuff like viruses, the computer viruses. So if you have the hive mind or whatever, yeah, you're linked into this. What's saying some hacker, or malicious actor can't, inject some kind of worm into that. And now you got people doing God only knows what. I mean, the
Exactly.
possibilities are endless. And how do you protect against that? What kind of antivirus will you have for the hive mind? I don't know. Okay.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they can't even, right now, these hackers are taking over government agencies and major corporations, and
Oh my
they can't
goodness.
seem to do anything about it.
I know, right? Every other day. Oh, we have to tell you that when you were subscribed to AT&T in 2019, all your stuff was real. It's out there on the dark web being sold. So if you're getting a million calls, and
Just
emails
so
from these
you know.
people,
Yes.
oh my God. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It's just, I don't know.
Oh.
So,
In the section called the singularity, um, I think that's where you were reading from, but I had a note here that says consider the impact on Medicare. So I was listening to something the other day that was saying 10,000 people a month enter the Medicare system.
wow.
Um, and so the part where he writes, lawyers need to rethink issues of privacy and identity. Governments are faced with rethinking matters of healthcare and equality. Sports associations, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. We're just this large group of baby boomers, you know, um, are really kind of pushing the system over the edge in a lot of ways. Another thing I was watching was talking about AI is now being tested with as psychiatric care, as mental health care.
God.
Yeah, there's an app, since you can't get a therapist because there's so few of them, it seems, and you can't afford it and blah blah blah. There's now an app uh, where you can have your weekly psychiatric sessions with AI, and it's not available yet to the general public, but it's being tested within certain companies. And of course, it's got glitches. Uh,
No doubt.
because there's what's it called? I think this was on 60 Minutes also. There's something called, it's like either a closed system or an open system. I think the open systems are called generative. So a closed system is where the AI only knows what it has been programmed to know. So if you come on and you say, I'm feeling depressed, it's got, you know, 10 different ways of responding to your comment. The open systems are the ones that um, can go out and do a Google search on your comment. So if you say, I'm feeling depressed, it might come back and say, so why don't you kill yourself?
You know, because Google ain't that. It's not a great resource. Okay. It's got an algorithm too. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my
So,
God.
so that's kind of a little glitch in the system.
Oh, oh boy.
But they're working on it because they're saying, you know, that COVID pushed so many people over the edge and there aren't enough mental health workers to respond to all the craziness that got let loose.
Well, wouldn't a more, I don't know, practical solution be to, up to pay and recruit more people to be therapists? How about that? Okay. Uh.
I guess we're old fashioned, Gia. They might not try to do it like that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Interesting. Where we going? Where we going? Oh my God. This is,
genetic discrimination. Mm,
yeah.
mm, mm, mm.
Wow.
Let's see. Why did I highlight? What is a spaceship compared to an eternally young cyborg who does not breed and has no sexuality, who can share thoughts directly with other beings, whose abilities to focus and remember are 1,000 times greater than our own, and who is never angry or sad, but has emotions and desires that we cannot begin to imagine.
Yeah, that's true. I can't begin to imagine. I mean, I can only think about, some examples from our science fiction and horror. The Star
Yeah,
Trek, the Borg, who we will assimilate all of you. That's our solution.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
you know, but he's right. We can't really even empathize or put ourselves in the shoes of what this world will be like. Um, so I don't know. It was a little
Yeah, that was out there. Well, what do you think about? There was some place in here where they talked about the Neanderthal Genome
oh
Project, where they want to bring back a Neanderthal to what? So he can be out lonely.
but what if he's vengeful?
Yeah, and he starts an underground movement like Planet of the Apes. It'll be Planet of the Neanderthals. Okay.
Right, right. I mean, you
Or if he
know,
turns out to be smarter, and then we have to figure out, well, how do we get so stupid?
right. It says, maybe we owe them a revival.
Mm,
But we don't know, why or how they disappeared.
yeah.
And if we killed them, which is, probable, um, that we might have had good reason at the time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't know why they would be messing around with that. But there's nothing sacred. There's nothing um
Mm. It's
there's
like we ask why, and they say, why not?
right, right.
How
It's
much
like
harm could it possibly do?
right, right. And I appreciate the scientific mind, the curiosity, the um, um, that the as he talks about in this book, how we've evolved from just believing that everything was beyond our control and just the way it was, to thinking that there are some things we can get a handle on. I appreciate that can do attitude. But I think it's just um it just goes too far. It goes too far too fast. And as you were saying about me earlier, you think that I'm just kind of thoughtful. I guess that's what I'm feeling like. I wish I felt like there was more thoughtfulness going on in this process, and it just doesn't seem like there is. um the the ethical and political questions um that these things you know um bring up um are extremely difficult to answer. um we can't even really imagine um a situation where all humans or a majority of humans would agree on, okay, here's the right answer. um so I don't know, but it just seems like a lot of things are moving ahead without a sufficient um level of buy-in. And then we just reach a point where, as he's talking about, with all of these various revolutions that have occurred in human history, then we just reach a point where something is so embedded and so widespread, there ain't no stopping us now. you know so if there's gonna be any stopping, it has to happen on the front end. um and I mean, you said we're not ready um to know what's on other people's minds, but I guess that's how I feel about all of this, that we're not ready. um we're not ready to have these powers. Um,
Yeah, I agree. Um, I think hmm, a major prerequisite would have to be that we agree that all human beings need some kind of equal footing, right? Standards of living. We're not even there. We're not even there.
right, right. I mean, and you see how AI is moving swiftly ahead. You know, at one point there were some kind of questions in the atmosphere about, is this really a good idea? But in short order, it's like everywhere now. And
You cannot say no. What program do you have that doesn't pop up a little AI assistant? No, get off my computer.
right,
Get off my
right.
phone. I don't need you
Right,
looking at
that's
all my
something.
stuff.
Oh, now
Okay.
you're gonna just replace psychiatrists?
Yeah. Who's next? I have a feeling, where's I know they have a union. What are they not speaking up about this? Because once it started, they're going to replace the whole bunch of them. Okay.
Well,
And
it's a
only the wealthy,
psychiatrist.
right, would
It's
be able
a
to afford a real human being.
it's a woman who's a psychiatrist and entrepreneur
Of
whose
course,
company, right, whose company is leading the way on this thing.
because she wants this is a way of, capitalizing on a hole, right? A need.
When
So,
I was at the
mm.
grocery store packing my bag today, and I'd like to point out, Jill, that I take my sweet time. Don't get online behind me.
Oh, okay, Michelle. What happened? What kind of
I take
scene
my
did you
sweet
cause?
time. I take my sweet time packing my bag.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then after I'm done, then I open my purse to pull out my wallet.
Okay.
And because, I mean, it's one thing if the cashier is trying to help me pack the bags. If she's doing that, then I'll play nice and I'll go ahead and I'll take care of the payment. But since
Okay.
I now have to do your job,
Oh, she wasn't helping at all.
most of
Okay.
the time they don't. Most of the time they don't anymore.
Wow.
Well, when I was online going through that today, I was thinking about, yeah, I remember when they started making us pump our own gas. You remember
Mm.
that?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when you didn't have to pump your gas?
Okay. I think still in New Jersey, I think they were trying to, mess with those cats. I don't know if they succeeded. But but New
Yeah.
Jersey was one of the only, few places who, no, you better sit in your car. Don't touch that pump.
Yes, yes,
We got
yeah.
Guido and Farrak. Okay, looking at
Yeah.
you. Okay.
But it has just been a steady succession of change in culture, uh, to make the customer do the work that workers used to do.
Mm, yeah.
So now you get with your AI and you spill out your guts and you see what they come back with.
And you know what? And somewhere in this chapter, he also says about, he was referencing DNA and whether or not your insurance company will have access to, your genetic history. So what if, it, who has access to your therapy notes? Okay. And suppose that gets hacked. And now the hackers have your have, have all your info, on lockdown, and you have to pay out the nose to get it back, or they just spill it online. It's just so many.
I guess next we're going to hear about AI instead of Catholic priests. Can't even talk to your priest anymore
Oh my goodness.
because
Wow.
we're just not supposed to have anything that's private, um, personal.
Wow.
It's
Well, the mistake is believing the hype that digitization of an inherently biological and spiritual being can solve any problem or meet any need, because look at what the technology we've gotten so far. It's so ubiquitous, handheld computers, but we're just as empty and in pain, emotionally distraught, psychologically unbalanced as ever, maybe more. So to just add some more ones and zeros to the equation, how is that going to solve it? It's just going to make that chick richer. Oh, and the people who invested in the company, that's not a real solution. That's a leaky band-aid. No, it's a band-aid with PFAS in it that's giving you cancer.
oh man. So what overall thoughts do you have about the book or anything else about these last two chapters?
Oh my. Um, Gee whiz. Gee whiz, Harari. Do we have a hope? Uh, it, you know, we have got to wrestle back from all of these fractured powers that be, control over our own lives. I mean, we've seceded so much in the name of comfort and quasi peace, which there, we don't have peace. It's too uh, profitable for particular powers. But we've let control over our lives, you know, we've lost it, in the name of progress. But progress for who? Um, and to be able to have time, right? Take time to really analyze your life. Is it better now than it was before? You know, what are the major influences that I can control, right? So that I don't really lose connection to the things that are important to being human, to being a Homo sapien, to just being part of this bigger uh, ecosystem that, yes, I'm a part of. I'm doing my part to both preserve and destroy because of, how we have to live, how we're forced to live within different systems. But we can't lose sight of the connection that we have to the planet and to the other, beings that live on the planet. and just be able to say, hey, with the small powers that we have, no, you need to stop right there where I'm asking you some questions about, who is this good for? We oftentimes we don't even speak up. We read an article, it passes us by. We don't even investigate. Hey, wait a minute now. Who can I talk to? How can I make my voice heard about? I don't think that's a good idea for anybody. Okay. We don't do that. We just say, oh, it's beyond my purview. I have no powers, but you do have some powers. And that's where, they get you. If we stood out in the street and, and protested, you get attention. So, but if you say nothing at all, well, that's quiet acquiescence, right? You're saying, okay, it's not immediately affecting me, so I don't, really care that much.
Mhm.
But down the line, it will. It all will. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and COVID, when so many people were able to be at home, um, I was really watching to see if that was going to, really change people's perception of how much power we have. Um, and I don't know. I think it did briefly. Um, but I think as it was declared that life returned to normal, um, we're kind of back where we were of not really seeing our power as clearly. But I agree, I agree with you, Gio, that that's what it comes down to, that we um that we embrace the belief that we do have some power. That's what Harari was talking about, actually, um, when you were coming in, and I was reading the first question of the Q&A in the
mhm.
back of the book. Um, and he was talking about, let me just read a little bit of that. The question was, what inspired you to write a book about the entire history of humankind? What was your aim? And he said, when I was a teenager, I became very troubled by the fact that I didn't understand what was really happening in the world, why things were the way they were, and what the aim and meaning of life were. I asked my parents, my teachers, other grown ups, and shockingly, it turned out that they too didn't really understand life. But I was even more amazed by the fact that they seemed not to care about it. They were very worried about money, careers, their mortgage, the political situation, but were completely nonchalant about the fact that they didn't understand what life was all about. And so I think that's um that's a key question for me, is it has always been, what is life all about? Um and I don't know, if that comes to me from being a preacher's kid and growing up in the church, and having that be a place where those kinds of questions are explored. What is life about, and what is your purpose, you know, for being here? Um, and um, so I don't know. I know um, there seem to be a lot of sapiens who claim religion, as or spirituality as a part of their um, identity. Um, but I'm just always curious about how many people really take time out of their day, out of their life to consider, what one of my favorite songs, What's It All About, Alfie?
Yes, yes.
um,
Mm.
because like Harari found with his family, it doesn't really seem like people are bothering themselves with such questions. Um, but if you do bother to ask um, why you're here, what your purpose is, what is the point of life, um, then it just takes you down a different kind of road than I think humanity has has been on uh, for a long time. So I don't know. I wish. I mean, you had left us in a pretty hopeful place, and I wish I could do that, but um, but I don't think that the tone of the book is particularly um hopeful. Um, I think he has a great sense of humor, and he makes the exploration of human history, very readable and entertaining and informative. Um, but he's working with the material he has,
Well,
and it's not looking so good.
not good.
So, you know, but and I mean, again with COVID, I mean, I had hoped that COVID would give people some space and time in their life um to 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 have those kinds of thoughts, to take that time to reflect. um I mean, we can certainly have more time to do that kind of thing when we're retired or we're disabled and not a part of that daily grind. um but most of us are a part of that daily grind. And that and that's where, if you can't make time within that stage of life, um that's how we get sucked into these these tunnels, these patterns, um that just take us down some really, what did he describe as the terror of the ecosystem?
Mm,
What a face
yeah,
for Homo sapiens.
we sound like a plague. It needs to
Yeah,
be, you know. That's
yeah.
terrible.
But that's that's what we have been. Um, so yeah, take the time, people.
Yeah,
Turn
yeah,
off the TV for a little while. Um,
please.
yeah, yeah. Um, anyway, Gio, I have enjoyed your company so much through this book and our occasional visits from Vanita
Yeah.
and Nicole.
Mhm.
Um, I hope you enjoyed the book.
It was definitely a trip.
It's a trip. It's a trip. But Benita and I really love him as a writer. Um, and like I said, his next book after this one is called Homo Deus.
Mm.
Homo Deus: A Brief History of Tomorrow. And that's the human God. And so he
Mm.
really goes into more detail, um, about what the future may look like, with these things that he's talking about in chapter 20.
Oh, okay. Hmm. I'll have to make some time to read that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's excellent. Um, so, in terms of future plans, I don't know. I guess can we play it by ear?
I absolutely. Well, I know I'm taking the rest of the year off.
The rest of the year?
I'm taking the rest of the year off. Yeah, got some stuff I need to take care of.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Um, I mean, I need to get with Nicole and see, if she really uh has the time to do this. And
Yeah.
and if she does, um, then I guess I would try to help her do it. Um, uh, you know, but I want a good long break myself. I don't know if it's gonna be the rest of the year, but
Well, you never know what kind of opportunities will present themselves for you. So stay open.
I'm open. I'm open. I'm open. And I know Benita's got a lot going on,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
where she could use a good long break. you you know. So, let's play it by ear and, see what happens. Um, but but let's not lose contact.
No, absolutely. We know we have a November date.
We have a November date. Oh, oh,
And we will celebrate come what may.
oh, yes, yes. Oh, this year.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, I don't know, but we're in April, and so far, I'm not hearing a whole lot about the. I guess the Trump is so caught up in his legal issues.
Lord have mercy. This is the
But
Twilight Zone for real. What in the
it
world?
re- it really is. It really is. So I don't know. But yeah, we have a November date. And uh I don't know. I'm trying to travel a little bit.
Oh, that sounds
Uh
nice.
just to get out of New York for a little bit. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I'll end up down your way.
Oh, well, give me a heads up so I can have some good food for you. Make sure the guest room is all neat. Okay.
All right. So yeah. And do you ever come back up this way?
Well, when my son was stationed up in New York, I did, but now he's in DC, the DC area. So, but my brother is still in New Jersey and he's not doing so well. So I may have to make some plans to come up there
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
shortly. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, hey, just gotta play it by ear, see what happens, be ready to roll. That's how it goes.
I know. I know. All right, my friend. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm so glad. I have one success story. Woohoo!
You really do. You really do.
Oh, that is so good. That is
Happy
good to know.
you.
Mm.
So you're not a doctor. Are you a naturopath?
No, I'm just an experimenter. I'm like my autoimmune journey has been interesting. And I was like, I'm not losing a kidney and the liver to this. So let me look up some other things I can do. So that's been my journey. And when I find some stuff that could help other people, I share because, hey, it might work for you. You don't know. Mhm.
Well, this is something.
I'm so glad. Okay. Well, do what Vanita said now. Keep track of what's happening because, sometimes you start taking things and you have to like rotate off and on, or they may switch the formula and you have to find a different one. But now that you know what kind of, that mushroom combination is a good thing for you.
Yeah, I have to
Mm.
really learn, like I said, I took it on Saturday. Thinking, well, the black seed oil is a thing that when I'm taking it, I take every day, right?
Mhm.
Because the effect of it wears off, at the
Mm.
end of the day. And so I'm also learning that the time of day that I take something, because maybe I get a good 8 to 10 hours of good energy out of that.
Mhm.
So if I take it, 8 o'clock in the morning, then, by 5 o'clock, I'm zonked out. But if I take it at noon, then I can have a little evening time. So, just learning those kinds of things about um, stuff I experiment with.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to do that with the ohm to try to really figure out. I thought it would have been a daily thing, but because the effect has lasted, it lasted, a good 3 days.
Wow, that is so amazing. You need to do a TikTok for him. Say, look now, I'm not a paid spokesperson, but I could be. No,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
should. You should write the company and just, say, hey, don't change your formula, buddies. You got something here.
Right, right, right. Lion's mane.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. Wow.
Lion's mane, cordyceps, turkey tail. And that's the thing. The medication that I take for my liver um is made from the pee of polar bears.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I'm imagining who got to get the pee. What kind of dangerous job is that? And who discovered it? Okay, who had to
Right.
get the
How do you
pee?
discover such a thing?
Oh my God. That sounds like some expensive medication there, Michelle.
But that's the thing that nature And, all of her creatures um, have so many mysteries that we've yet to grasp. And that's why this venture into new forms of life and whatnot is so upsetting, like unsettling. Like we don't there's a lot we don't understand about the life we have.
That's right. And
Again, COVID, you know,
mm-hmm. Well, they're
threw
talking about
humanity
another.
for a loop. Right.
They're talking about another one coming up. I'm like, okay, what they got planned for us now?
Exactly. Exactly. So, you know, but there's so much stuff out there, some of which is helpful, some of which is harmful. But while we're busy destroying life as we know it,
Mm.
I don't know, Gia. I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, thank you for joining me on this journey.
My pleasure. Absolutely. I learned a lot of things.
Yeah, we're an
Indeed.
interesting species, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
I hope to see you soon,
Me
but it
too.
won't be next week reading our
Okay.
story together.
Oh, it's been a joy, Michelle. And I wish you a very wonderful summer, spring and summer,
Thank
until we
you.
meet again.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.